Welcome to a new planetary and seismic update. On the SGI graph we see the geometry that I discussed in the previous update, specifically the convergence of planetary and lunar geometry from the 15th to the 19th, spread over several days. And I expected an obvious seismic response to that geometry, especially here the lunar peak with Mars and Saturn and Neptune on the 19th. And if we look at the seismic activity that we had, a 5.8 initially on the 17th, then we didn't have much, not the typical higher 5 magnitude earthquakes, but if we look at the 19th, 20th, that's where the seismic increase occurred with 4 magnitude 6 earthquakes in 3 days, 6.6 South Shetland Islands, 6.1 Vanuatu, 6.7 Northern Mid-Atlantic Ridge. This is an obvious burst of stronger earthquakes, the typical temporal clustering. And like I said, we haven't seen many of these stronger earthquakes like 6.5 and larger. We have to go back to early January, Mexico 6.5, and also on the 22nd of February 7.1. These were the only two mid-6 and larger earthquakes, and now we see 2 of them within 2 days. This is the typical temporal clustering following obvious lunar geometry, planetary and lunar geometry. Like I said, this was the geometry spread out over several days, starting here on the 15th. Critical geometry following the moon with Mars did not do anything initially. It really happened after the new moon and Earth's alignment, the moon's alignment with Saturn and Neptune. We also see the 6.2 here in Tonga this morning, and that happens with Earth in alignment with the Sun and Neptune. I already addressed this briefly in the previous update, so let's have a look at that geometry because it happens today and tomorrow. First, the 6.7 on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. We don't see it very often, these larger earthquakes here. The 5.8 happened on the Caribbean plate, and in between we have a subduction zone that is capable of producing magnitude 8 and larger. It's been a long time. So we know that stress is building here along that fault. Likewise, on the other side, we have the Azores Cape St. Vincent Ridge. It's been a long time since large earthquakes, the typical magnitude 7 and large earthquakes happened there between the Azores and Portugal. We have Greece, a continuation of moderate seismic activity approaching magnitude 5. Recently there was a 5.5. We also see a magnitude 4.5, 4.4 to the south. And I have the map from the seismic increase that we had earlier, the 6.2 in Italy, the increased activity in Greece and also Turkey, all the way up to the Black Sea, the North Anatolia Fault. What I did not mention here in this particular update, the previous update, is the region to the north, that's Bulgaria and Romania. There can also be major seismic activity like magnitude 7. It's been a long time as well, and these areas, they could be due as well, specifically here, or especially the Carpathian Mountains. That's the typical horseshoe. Stress is building here due to the tectonic plates pushing here from the south to the north and to the northwest. It's also something to be aware of. So let's have a look at the geometry. Like today and tomorrow, we have Mars, Venus, Jupiter in an alignment, and also, like I said, Earth, Sun and Neptune. That's today, and Mars, Venus, Jupiter tomorrow. And at the same time, we have the moon lining up with Uranus. There is additional lunar geometry here as well. Let's have a look at the solar system. Earth, Sun and Neptune in alignment. It will be followed a few years later by Earth, Sun and Saturn, because Saturn and Neptune are in the same region of space. We have Mars, Venus and Jupiter, a significant alignment as well. This is not geocentric, it's not heliocentric. We really need to look at Mars-centric observation or Venus-centric observation, which is what we do. At the same time, we see lunar geometry here, the moon aligning with Uranus and also 45 degrees with Saturn and with Jupiter around the same time. This is all happening on the 22nd and 23rd. A pretty tight convergence here, and that can result in stronger seismic activity. If we look at the SGI graph, following that convergence, I'd say 23rd, 24th, around 24th, we have to be on watch for potential stronger seismic activity, the typical higher 5, borderline 6, and it could be a larger one in there as well. Then on the 25th, we also have tight convergence of planetary alignments, Earth, Sun, Saturn, like I said, also Mercury, Sun, Venus. And Mercury, Sun, Venus is almost always followed by a high 5 to borderline 6 magnitude earthquake. It converges with Earth, Sun, Saturn, and it is followed by the Moon in a conjunction with Jupiter on the 26th. If you look at the solar system for that specific geometry, Mercury, Sun, Venus, Earth, Sun, and Saturn in alignment, and we have the Moon also in alignment with Jupiter on the 26th. And as a result of this geometry, you may have a seismic response potentially peaking here on the 27th, maybe later on the 27th, around that time, following the Moon's conjunction with Jupiter. This is a significant lunar alignment here. If we look further down the week, we see Mercury, Sun, Uranus in alignment on the 29th, followed by Mercury, Venus, Uranus, and then we see the lunar geometry, Moon in an opposition with Mars on the 31st, and the Moon in an opposition with Saturn and with Neptune on the 1st of April, converging with Venus between the Sun and Uranus. And I suspect that we could see a seismic increase here as well. Like I said, the Moon is the most important seismic modulator. It is close to full moon on the 2nd, early on the 2nd of April, and there could be an obvious seismic response around the time of the full moon on the 2nd, 3rd, around the 2nd of April. This is what we're going to have in the coming time frame up until the 1st, 2nd of April. Check out the updates on the website and social media. Stay safe, everyone, and until next time.